Hi, Dawn Epting here. Thank you guys so much as always for watching. I wanted to come and share from the topic, the best way to overcome lack and limitation. The best way I believe that I have found to overcome lack and limitation. And hopefully by the end of this video, we will be reminded to live a life without limits because we were created to live a limitless life. Thank you, whatever social media platform you may be watching on. If you are watching on YouTube, feel free to hit the subscribe button and the bell to receive notifications for future videos. So I'll get right on into it today. So, the best way to overcome lack and limitation is not to absorb other people's energy. Not to absorb other people's energy. And I want to get into that a bit. I think sometimes we minimize, the relationships that we have. And when I say relationships, they could be, you know, romantic relationships such as marital or dating. It could be a friendship. It could also be business partnerships. We have to be very protective of our energy and what we allow into our lives. There is a scripture that says, guard your heart with all diligence, for out of it flow the issues of life. And also, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. So I have heard one very inspirational teacher say that as a man thinks in his heart, so will his experience be. So will his life be. So will his or her manifestations be. We have to be careful of the thoughts that we think and the energy that we take in and that emanates out of us. So I want to get into this. I've written down a few points here. So the best way to overcome lack and limitation is not to absorb other people's energy because it limits what we can do in our lives. Often other people's thoughts, their energy, it limits what we can do in our lives. Have you ever had a conversation with someone and they tell you all the reasons why what you're seeking to do cannot be done or why it's impossible? Often we can absorb people's energy that way. We may walk away feeling depleted. We may walk away feeling dejected and not even realize what has occurred. We may engage in a conversation with someone and we're excited about a new business that we're starting or a new venture that we're starting. And they may detail all the reasons why it can't work, why it's impossible. Or have you ever been in a situation where you were facing maybe some type of health challenge or someone close to you and you were talking to someone, or perhaps, and I would really discourage this, you posted it on Facebook or Instagram or social media, that someone was sick or you were experiencing illness and you were specific about the illness. And you get all of these comments as to what happened to someone else when they had that illness or what happened to one of their family members and how it turned out, basically it didn't turn out well. So we have to be careful because we can leave those conversations feeling dejected, depleted, sometimes just not as energetic as when we went into them. And often there has been an energy exchange that has occurred. We've taken on that limitation thinking. We've taken on that energy that says that something, that our desires are not possible. And we have to be careful of that. So one of the biggest ways that we can overcome limitation in our life is not to absorb other people's energy. So we have to be careful of the relationships that we have. We have to, know the people that we are in relationship with, friendships with, And we have to monitor and be mindful of what we're feeling in those interactions. So be careful of the relationships that we're in, and be careful of when we're engaged in conversations and we leave those conversations if they are not uplifting, encouraging conversations, not to ruminate on those thoughts over and over, those limiting thoughts, limiting beliefs from, another person, and not to feel those emotions. We have to be careful of not constantly rehearsing the thoughts and those emotions associated with the thoughts. Because if we're not careful, we can internalize those thoughts and those emotions. Now, it's one thing if we're engaged in a conversation with someone and they detail all the reasons why we can't be successful at something, and they give all of the examples of people that they know that have tried it and have failed. That's one thing. But it's a whole nother thing when we start internalizing those thoughts and those emotions, because what you think and what you feel is what creates in your life. I've heard it said that you are the only creator in your universe. It's not what other people say or what other people feel. When we take those thoughts and those feelings and internalize them, that is what produces and that's what manifests in our lives. So in Joseph Murphy's book, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind, he says autosuggestion is suggesting something definite and specific, to oneself. So autosuggestion. Sometimes we start suggesting something definite and specific to ourselves over and over again, and it becomes an autosuggestion. Essentially, it is on autopilot. And scientifically, it has been noted, and this is something that I've written down, thoughts can be considered a form of energy because the brain generates electrical activity when we are thinking. So thoughts have an energetic property or quality. So we have to be careful of the thoughts that we take into our hearts from outside of us, from external sources, and we have to be careful of the thoughts that we think that we internalize. We have to be very careful of that, because that is what creates our realities, what we think and feel. There was a scripture, Jesus said it, if you believe you receive it, ye shall have it. That's in Mark 11:24. Whatsoever, when you pray, believe that you receive it and you shall have it. Believe that you've already received it. Feel the emotion of gratitude and believe that you've received it and you will have it. And the same thing is true with things that we don't desire. If we believe, if we think, and we believe and feel that we have not received it, we will have that as well. So we just have to be careful. I wanted to come and remind us this year that we have to be careful of the influences that we have around us, because it's not about working harder. It's not sometimes in our lives, it's not that we're not working hard enough. It's not that we're not, envisioning things. We have vision boards. We're working hard. It's really the thoughts that we're taking in from the outside and the energy that we're absorbing from other people. Those are the things that produce in our lives. Those are the things that produce in our lives. If we think of it, and I'll end on this note, everything that we name, for lack of a better word, it's because of someone else's experience. You know, it can be wealth, it could be prosperity. Someone else usually has experienced it first. And, you know, that was their experience. And often we allow that experience to become our experience. And the same is true for things that we don't desire or negative things. You know, just because someone else tells you or someone tells you about their friend's experience that may have experienced a health issue, that was something that they picked up along their physical trail, and they named it and they identified it and they internalized it. And that's not to say that there is anything wrong, that they did anything wrong. I'm not saying that in any way, shape, or form. But what I am saying is that you do not have to internalize what someone else has experienced in order for it to become your experience, especially if it's something that you don't desire, whether it's a health issue, a relationship challenge, or related to finances. So thank you guys so much for watching. Feel free to look below to see information about my Passion into Purpose course and how you can receive your very own coaching session. And thank you for your contributions. I also really appreciate your comments because it really does help other people as we encourage each other on this journey together. So I will definitely be putting out weekly content this year, and I look forward to hearing from you and you sharing your experiences. Thank you so much, and you guys have a great one.